It is business as usual, and I'll talk about it on this segment of the Gig Geezer. One thing I've shared in many of my recent segments is that the best way to overcome DoorDash's algorithm, the best way to overcome this accept more, earn more pilot program is to multi-app, 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 multi-app. You cannot get around it. Yes, there are individuals, even in this market, the Columbia, South Carolina market, who may have been able to make what they've made working just a couple of apps, namely maybe DoorDash, and with the combination of maybe Uber Eats or Grubhub or even Instacart. But what I, at least what I've been saying, at least for me, and I think with other drivers whom I'm beginning to run into in recent days, you have to work more than a couple of apps to make it in this market, and I'm pretty sure that's the case in many other markets in this country. And so, um, for that for that reason, I might as well introduce myself again. I'm Inwood Lane. I am a gig economy hustler. I have been active in the gig economy since 2016, starting in rideshare, doing Uber and Lyft. And currently, I am active on 11 apps, including Uber and Lyft. Now, I've often said the reason why that I'm active on so many apps is because in my market, it seems necessary that you've got to have multiple options in order to make the money that you would like to make. So, that said, again, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. So, what I'm going to do right now is segue into um, document footage of how I documented my first half hustle today, and then when I come back, I will summarize. I will wrap up this segment with talking about the second half hustle and just some other insights from what I've seen in this week's hustle. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, hey, thanks for coming by. And if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, thanks for coming back. And if either you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. As you're joining me in this particular segment of the Gig Geezer, it is Sunday morning, October 9th, 2022. And I have just picked up a stacked order across multiple apps, typical Gig Geezer style. The first one is a $25.25 Grubhub order from Eggs Up Grill, and the other is a $9.75 order also from Eggs Up Grill on the DoorDash app. Well, that's kind of the highlight so far this morning, but the main question is, how have I fared so far following DoorDash's introduction to its accept more, earn more program in my market, the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area, and also whether I actually gave in and reset my acceptance rate so that maybe I might have priority to higher paying orders according to DoorDash, or as I've said so far, access to just simply a higher volume of orders that I once enjoyed prior to all this stuff. Well, back on this particular segment of the Gig Geezer, I said that it was a split pot. Basically, it was a draw, and that on Wednesday, October 5th, I managed to average a little over $26 an hour, having earned $92.65 in 3.5 hours, and that was on a Wednesday evening hustle. Since then, I also put in 2 half days on Thursday and Saturday, Thursday October 6th and Saturday October 8th, and then I put in a full day on Friday October 7th.
Now, I did not mention in neither of these segments, the one that I mentioned where I call that I'm calling DoorDash's bluff, or on this particular segment where I said DoorDash's acceptance rate reset is nothing more than BS or bullshit. I failed to mention that I felt my first true test would be on Friday, October 7th. On that particular day, I put in a lot of miles, just to be in position to find order opportunities, or because of where orders sent me. And there were stretches in which I actually went a long time without seeing anything across my screen. In fact, on Friday, I made $212.99. Now, for those of you who have followed me, for those of you who are returning visitors of the Gig Geezer, those of you who are subscribers of the Gig Geezer, many of you have seen where I have successfully earned $200 or more during full days hustles. That is when I go out and complete a first half hustle and a second half hustle. And without boring you with all that stuff, typically a full day for me is anywhere between 6 and 8 hours. Most days it's 7.5 hours. But I have been successful at earning $200 a day or more in my market more than 90% of the time in 2022. And I have averaged over $200 a day in my gig hustle, in my gig grind, consistently since the beginning of 2021. Actually, since 2020. But for the sake of documentation on the Gig Geezer channel, at least since 2021. Also, I have earned at least $5,000 a month consistently since 2020 in gig hustle income. So, that said, I was concerned, as I mentioned. In fact, after completing this particular order, which paid $13.58, and that followed what has been so far this work week since the reset. It was a DoorDash order that offered $18.25, but it was not a large order program order. In fact, it was 9 items, and it took me some distance. And the order paid, according to the app, $19.50, but the customer tipped me cash additionally, and so it paid $23.50. That put me at about $192 and change for the day. But then I went 45 minutes without seeing an order that was worth taking, or just not seeing orders at all. And then I was bailed out for the day when I got this order here, a DoorDash order for $9.50. And then I also got this order, a $12 Waiter/Bite Squad order. And that put me over the top for sure. The Bite Squad order actually was insurance. Now, today, as I'm starting to document this, I am about an hour and 45 minutes into my hustle, and at a minimum, I know I'm at about $50. I've accepted 1, 2, 3 DoorDash orders, and so what I'm finding is that, yes, I may be subject to long stretches without seeing DoorDash orders coming across my screen, but I am seeing some kind of volume of orders coming across my screen on the DoorDash app, despite the fact that my acceptance rate has been as low as 3%, but as high as 14% in terms of the DoorDash app. In fact, the other metrics that DoorDash keep up with, my driver rating hasn't changed. My completion rate has been as low as 89%, but as high as 92%. And right now it's probably going to be, as I speak at this moment, it's probably at 91%. And my on-time percentage has been over 91% as well. You can round it up to 92%, but DoorDash isn't doing that anymore. So it's not, the one thing that I have been missing, however, are the large order program orders. I've not seen a DoorDash large order program order opportunity since Tuesday, October 4th. And so my average order completed on the DoorDash app has dropped. In fact, This is a graphic that I last showed, in which I showed that uh, my average order completed on the DoorDash app since like July has been about $13.80. Of course, that comes with the help of the large order program orders. Um, Without the large order program, my average to that point on this app was at $12.04. Well, so far this week, or so far since October 5th, my average order completed has been a little over $10 an order. So that's the other thing. I am missing then a certain quality of order on the DoorDash app that I once saw. So the one thing that has been my saving grace so far in my gig hustle has been the fact, as I said previously, is that one then must have the multi-app in order to get beyond the DoorDash algorithm, in which it is squeezing drivers into accepting more orders in order to see more order opportunities. I've seen a few more orders on Grubhub. I've accepted a few more orders on Uber Eats, and from time to time I've seen opportunities on the Waiter/Bite Squad app, and of course Instacart. Now, I would be remiss not to share this particular tidbit of information as it relates to this market, the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area. I have been in conversation while I've been out doing these, while I've been out in the midst of my gig hustle, with other drivers, and other drivers have shared with me, at least throughout this particular work week, that it's been slow. Now, some would say, "Oh, geezer, come on now, you're making an excuse now." No, it's been slow. It's been slow across all the apps, at least in my market. In fact, one particular app that I usually see a steady stream of orders, I emailed them about if they are aware of any particular any opportunities that are coming down the pike in this market, and they told me, nope, don't see anything right now. And they have no reason to lie to me, because it's all about, hey, if we got opportunities, we need somebody to deliver the stuff for us. So that's been one of the things that I've noticed, that it's been slow across all the apps. The other thing, it is clearly evident that people are going to the restaurants now. More people have gone to the restaurants again. More people are going to the stores, and so that's a significant that is a significant difference to where it was 6 months ago, or a year ago, and definitely 2 years ago. The other thing, as I've said too, is market saturation. The market hypersaturation is real. The thirst is real. So you've got those factors. So when you add on the DoorDash app, that it is giving priority to drivers with higher acceptance rates, priority to actually just seeing more orders. That's a pretty big pretty big hill to climb there. And so it takes a certain mindset. It takes a certain mindset to get through things like that. I don't know so much as about strategy, because I admit that there have been moments as I've been out here since October 5th, that I have contemplated going back to ride sharing. And I have not been a big fan of ride sharing over the last couple of years. I have not missed ride sharing. I've not missed the money. I've not missed the interaction of people. I've not missed anything about ride sharing. But as a business person, as someone who's out here to make money, I admit that, hey, ride sharing is not a bad option, you know? So these are some of the things that have crossed my mind. These are some of the things that I'm seeing out here. In fact, one driver told me, "Man, I'm trying to make $1 out of 50 cents. Take it for what it's worth." Now, when I get back with you in this segment of the Gig Geezer, I will be wrapping up how I fared on today's entire hustle, and also some other observations through today. And if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer, or in any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below.
Now, the second half hustle was the second half hustle. That was kind of interesting because it was very similar to the first half and how I went about stacking orders across multiple apps, which is a very common strategy of mine. In fact, that's something that I've advocated to other drivers and on this particular channel. And I started out the second half hustle stacking an Instacart order, which was for 16 items, but it increased to 18 items. But then after a couple of refunds, it was 16 items, and that paid $15.54. And then I accepted a stacked Uber Eats order from Red Robin. It offered $21.97, but it paid $25.97, largely in part to the second drop off in which the customer tipped me $12 on that order. Then I stacked another set of orders. This time it was a DoorDash that I accepted. It showed 10 miles for $13, 4 items. But I also accepted an Instacart. It was 7 items, but then it became 8 items from Kroger, and that Kroger is right down the road from McAllister. But both orders were about 5 minutes apart in actual driving time. And the customer from this order was so impressed in the way I did things, she increased my tip another $10 and had a very glowing report. That was kind of in contrast to the first customer, the first Instacart customer who ran me up the wall with her nitpicking and so forth. And the fact that she was, and in fact, here's a couple of the screenshots from the interaction on the chat room. Basically, the lady just burned her bridges with me. And I'll just leave it at that. That's just a nice way of saying things. Sometimes it's not worth just bashing people and so forth. But it was actually a contrast of situations. Um, both of those Instacart orders totaled $42.17, which was nice. And that turned out to be that Instacart play right there. The Instacart and well, as it turned out, the Instacart and DoorDash proved to be just south of a $40 opportunity. And then I stacked another set of orders across Grubhub and DoorDash again. The Grubhub was for $12.10, and then the DoorDash was offering $14.25. 4 items total. One was from Jersey Mike, and the other was from a place called Basil Thai. But that DoorDash order paid $23.25. In fact, the second drop off, which was for Basil Thai, was to a customer whom I have completed several orders to across multiple apps. So as it turned out, I made 115 and change in 3 hours, which definitely helped my numbers for the entire day. And it kind of brought me to a place where I felt pretty good about maintaining this strategy of multi-apping, despite not going for a higher acceptance rate, or for that matter, resetting my acceptance rate so that maybe I could see more orders. Yes, again, as I've said so many times, I go through long stretches in which I don't see orders, but from time to time I'll get an order that's worth my while, and it's just a part of my hustle for the day. In fact, that's the main thing. I don't Because DoorDash is one of several options for me. It's not the be all end all. And I think that if drivers were to equip themselves with multiple apps, then DoorDash is not going to be as much of a concern. Its impact is not going to be as significant. But again, I have my concerns. I have my concerns every single day that I'm out here that I may have a disaster of a day. And for all I know, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen Tuesday, it could happen Wednesday, happen Thursday, it could happen Friday. Well, and that's the whole point of me. And that's the whole point of me actually. Um, that's the whole point of me actually sharing how my week fared, because what I've been able to do is then share parts of days in which I had half hustles and days in which I put out full efforts, full day hustles. And again, what I've seen is business as usual for me. And I'm pretty sure for the serious one, the one who takes take this gig work as a business. Those who actually have equipped themselves with multiple apps, I'm pretty sure that you're probably saying it's business as usual. And then for those who have shared where they've seen a drop off in their income, I'm thinking though that I mean every market is different. So I don't want to seem like I'm gloating. I don't want to make it seem like that I am talking down on anybody because I could very well be in a very dire situation as well where I may be contemplating going back to ride sharing to make up the money that I'm losing in food delivery, or or even more so putting more effort as an insurance agent, which I am anyway. I mean, I am a licensed agent, I have my own agency, I do write business, but maybe I would have to put more effort into writing business when I don't feel like writing business. So there's a lot of things that I think about when I'm out here, and I'm certain that you do too. But the main thing again is that it's still business as usual for the gig user. And so if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer or in any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your hustle and may your grind continue.